JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 8th of December 2021. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD website and specifically our JFD research page. So if you go there on the top and click on the research tab, yep, it'll take you to our page, which is updated on a daily basis. So yep, check it out here. Now jumping into the charts, guys, very quickly. So picking up on Nikkei 225. So as you can see, we had a nice little rebound here. And if you remember, a while ago I talked about this, and I said that if this area here holds, then we might see a nice little rebound here and a push back to the upside. So for now, it seems that we are, yes, the idea that I've mentioned before, the potential symmetrical triangle, it seems to be working out. So we've pushed above that 28,581 zone. Now it's en route towards that upper side of the triangle. So let's see if we can reach that. And if we can, then yes, of course, then this is where we'll stall for a little bit. But for now, long story short, from the very near-term perspective, I'm going to aim for slightly higher levels, especially if it continues to trade above all of the EMAs here on our daily chart. And then of course we'll take it from there, because we want to see which way this one's going to break out to, because at the moment on the bigger picture, yes, it is forming something of a symmetrical triangle pattern. Shanghai Composite very quickly on this one, so yep, continues to push higher, so everything's kind of in line with the idea that I mentioned before. So what I said before, that if we pop above that 3,602 territory somewhere around here, my next target is the highest point of October. Near the 3,625, and if it stays above it, if it pops, first of all, if we pop above it and then stay above it, then yes, we could go for some higher levels. And for now, I'm going to be aiming for the 3,678 zone, marked by the high of the 16th of September, or even we could aim for that highest point of September near the 3,724 zone. So keep that in mind. Also, at the same time, we can see that the index is trading above this upside line here, taken from the low of the 10th of November. So in other words, if you're looking for some downside on this one, well, at least wait for a break of this upside line and then a drop below that 3,572 territory right here, which is marked by the current lowest point of this week. Now jumping into German index DAX, beautiful push here to the upside. We broke nicely this downside line, and yep, we popped above that 15,540 territory I spoke about. And yep, we excuse me. And yep, we stayed above, not only above that barrier, but also above the above all of the EMAs, and also above the 15,740 territory right here, marked by the low of the 24th of November. So if we actually take a look at the cash index right now, just bear with me one moment. Let me load up my MT4 MetaTrader platform, so just bear with me one moment, guys. Okay, that's taking a bit of a while, but okay, anyway, let's put it this way. As long as it stays above this 15,740 territory, yep, we could continue aiming higher here. Oh, there we go. So let's have a look where we are at right now. Just bear with me one moment again.
Incoming mail.
Okay, right. We have correct a little bit lower, so that's all fine. We're currently sitting at around 15,789 zone, so we're still above this 15,740 territory. And I would say if we continue to trade above it, then yep, we could aim for some higher levels. And my next target here could be somewhere around here near this near that psychological 16,000 mark. And then of course, yeah, we would take it from there. For now, long story short, yes, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside, especially if it continues to trade, well, let's say not only above this 15,740 territory, but also above all of the EMAs. However, if it starts falling below these EMAs, the 21-day and the 100-day EMA, then we could maybe consider a bit of a corrective move lower. Now, Dow Jones Industrial Average. So, looking at this picture here, I mean, you can see that yesterday the index popped nicely to the upside. It pushed back above it actually from the beginning of this week. I wasn't running the videos, but as you can see, it climbed back above these upside lines, the ones that I talked about previously. And in a way, I would say for now, everything's kind of looking on the positive side, and everything's kind of sitting on the positive side. So the cash index is also sitting at around 35,772 territory. So basically, there's a lot of positivity right now, and it seems that we are above this downside line. Let me just adjust it correctly here, and there we go. So yes, we are above this, and as long as we stay above it, then yes, of course, we'll continue aiming higher, guys. Where our next little obstacle here is this area near the 35,900 zone. We'll be very careful around here, but if that gets cleared, of course, we have that 36,000 area, and then above that. But again, long story short, for now, keep your eyes on this downside line. And yep, if we continue to trade above it, then I'll aim for some higher levels. The DXY dollar index. So okay, now then let me just remove this line here. Actually, let me put it here. So yesterday we pushed higher, but as you can see, we failed to reach that 96.64 territory, and we started reversing back down. Today we are testing already yesterday's low. If we drop below that, then I'll consider maybe a bit of a larger correction to the downside towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 29th of October. And then we would take it from there, of course, because again, if we do see a nice little rebound here from this upside line, then well, maybe we could not be done maybe with the upside yet. So but if we start breaking this upside line and then we drop somewhere below this 95.52 territory, then well, yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a larger move lower, which to be honest also could be seen as a temporary correction, because we're still trading above this upside line taken from the low the 25th of May. So keep that in mind. For now, I would say if we drop nicely below yesterday's low and kind of, let's say, stay for today below it, then I will aim for that 21-day EMA initially, because as you can see recently, it did provide good support. And now jumping into silver very quickly here. So silver is kind of stuck here for now. Yes, it seems to be forming, well, after reversing here on the 3rd of December, it seems to be forming these higher lows, but it's struggling with a higher high. So what can we do here? Basically, we can draw something like this, an upside line taken from the low of the 3rd of December, and we can also find this key resistance barrier roughly around that 22.60 territory. So in other words, we might be seeing here ourselves a nice little maybe ascending triangle. However, on the broader picture, I mean, we can see that we're still kind of drifting lower. So from the short-term perspective, if we pop above this 22.60 territory, then yes, we could go for that larger correction to the upside, but don't forget that we're still trading below this downside line. WTI oil very quickly on this one. So yesterday popped higher, but as you can see, this 73.11 territory did provide good resistance. It just fell shy by a few points from kind of reaching this downside line. I'll keep an eye on it for today because we might see a nice good push higher, but if this downside line somehow does its job and provides a good hold up, then maybe another slide could be possible. And if you're looking for some kind of levels here for the downside, then probably wait for at least a drop somewhere below the 69.47 territory, which coincides, which first of all marks the inside swing high of the 1st of December and coincides with the 200-day EMA. Bitcoin Cash very quickly on this one. So if you remember last week I talked about Bitcoin Cash and I said that keep your eyes on this this upside line taken from below the 20th of July, because if it fails to provide a hold up, well, we could see a nice drop lower, and especially if we fall somewhere below this 533.80 territory, roughly around here, then yes, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low. And look what happened. I mean, we drifted lower. We even overshot the lowest point of this year. Well, the previous lowest point of this year. And let me just double check that very quickly. Yes, is that correct? No, sorry, that's the lowest point of July, not the year, because for the year we are still somewhere around here. Yep. And there we go. So that's the lowest point of this year. Let me just mark this on the chart. There we go. So we came close to that, to testing that area, and then you can see what happened here. We rebounded, we pushed higher. In a way, looking at this right now, I mean, yes, we could go maybe for a bit of a corrective move higher here again. But as you can see, somehow this barrier here, this 479, or let's round it up here a little bit, 480, is providing resistance. If we do kind of push above that, then yes, we could go for maybe a larger correction here to the upside. So keep that in mind. USDJPY, USDJPY. So here the pair is kind of we can see that it rebounded nicely from this hurdle here, this 112.73 territory. I spoke about this level previously, yep. Everything kind of, like I said, yeah, here worked out nicely here. This area proved to be quite a strong one, quite a strong support level. So if you're looking for something to the downside, then well, at least wait for a nice good drop below this hurdle. For the upside, I would prefer maybe to wait for a push over this 113.93 territory, and then yes, we could go for a larger well, not a correction, but maybe a move back to the upside here, at least towards some of these levels that I looked at previously, like for example the highest point of November near the 115.52 zone. Evu, yep, good morning to you too. Good morning to everybody else who's joining in, and yep, thank you very much for the kind words, Evu. Yep, so I'm happy to be back. So jumping into a few other pairs here, AUD and ZD. So look at this, I mean, beautiful move, and we've managed to rebound nicely from this upper side of the falling channel, which we broke to the upside. Strong rebound here from this area, and yep, we pushed back above this 1.0419 zone, and we ended up testing this 1.0502 level right here. We're now going for that larger correction to the upside, because as you can see, we're still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 29th of March. And yep, if this downside line provides a good hold up together with the 200-day EMA, then another slide here could be possible. However, if we break and stay above this area, well, I mean, maybe we could start moving even further north. For now, looking at this picture, you can see that the pair is, since reversing kind of to the upside around mid-September, it's forming these well, if we look at it this way, and then on the broader picture, it's forming a higher lows. So can it do that? Well, actually not from the 16th, not from mid-September. It's probably more from the mid-November. It's forming these higher lows now. Can it go for some higher highs? Well, again, we need to be very careful here for now because we're approaching quite a decent area of resistance. GBPCHF, quick update on this one. So this falling channel was working out initially. Everything was kind of looking, I mean, it was holding, but then it, as you can see, the pair broke below this lower side of the falling channel. Let me just have a look at the weekly. Yes, it stayed below it. Now my question here is actually for myself, probably, you know, what to do further, because at the moment, yes, we're seeing a bit of a corrective move lower. I would probably take this as a bit of a neutral stand here. I mean, as a neutral, I will take a neutral stand around this this pair, because if we were looking for some upside, I would rather maybe wait for that pop above the 1.2279 territory right here, because as you can see, it did provide good resistance recently, and yep, if we pop back above it, then we'll go for some higher levels. For the downside, I will take a very conservative approach and wait for a drop below the 1.2121 territory right there. EURJPY, very quickly on this one. So it's climbing back above this highlighted territory here. However, it's struggling with that, with this barrier, with this 128.33 zone. Let's see if we can finally climb above it and stay above it, because at the moment, yep, at the moment it's looking quite interesting, especially probably for the bulls, but again, let's not rush into anything, because again, this it could be tricky here. I mean, could still continue drifting lower, especially if it falls back below this 127.93 territory, and if it does that and stays below it, then well, maybe we're not really done with the downside here. And finally, EURUSD. So again, tricky, very tricky. We broke this upside line, taken from the low of the 25th of November. We can get rid of it. We're kind of drifting lower right now, but it's not really a significant move to the downside. So I would say if you're looking for something a little bit more reassuring, maybe wait for a push at least above this 1.1374 territory, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, because as you can see, recently it did act as a strong area of resistance. For the downside, now you can see that this 1.1235 territory I spoke about for this level previously, it's providing support, but if we drop below it again, then yep, I will aim for the downside, initially aiming for the lowest point of November, and then if that gets cleared, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially more sellers could join in. So, like I said, at the moment we are at a very tricky spot, so I'd rather leave it as it is right now, like this, and yeah, just continue observing the price action and wait for a violation of one of my levels. So guys, that's it for this session. I really appreciate you joining in. I mean, yep, thank you very much, guys, and I really appreciate your time. So if you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my trader's Espresso, that's, yep, it's only 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.